When I was 5 years old, I was emotionally traumatized, which affected my whole life. This happened on a bright sunny day, which I still vividly remember. I was walking to my daycare. I almost reached the gate, when suddenly, wait, why would a 5-year-old be all alone walking on the street? You see, I was born in the Soviet Union, in its Ukrainian Republic to be more precise. We were living in a small town and it was pretty safe. From 6 years old, I was walking by myself to my school, which was over a mile away. There were hundreds of other small kids doing the same, so it was the norm. It was safe, mostly. Come the bright sunny day, 35 years ago that changed my life forever. My family was living in a condo building and the daycare was just 150 yards away. Here I was, a brave 5-year-old who was allowed to walk to daycare alone for the first time ever. As I was approaching the gate, out of nowhere a massive dog jumped out. The creature was taller than me. My survival instincts kicked in and I propelled in the opposite direction. My mission objective of getting to the daycare did not change, so even with some detour, I was still running towards my destination, on top of my lungs. The dog liked the game and was eagerly following me. I practically flew over the fence and was finally safe at the daycare premises. The brain is a very fragile organ. That day, mine got damaged. It was not ready for such abnormal levels of cortisol and adrenaline, followed by an Olympic level of sprinting and jumping. In an instant, I acquired very bad stuttering. Also, for more than a week, I remained in shock. I didn't want to socialize, I lost weight, and even had some wetting accidents. I did find my footing, but the bad stuttering never left me. My devastated parents went above and beyond trying to help me. However, neither traditional nor alternative medicine could not fix it. My personality changed. Inability to communicate normally became a tall wall standing between me and my social development. My new disability was turning me into an introvert. Bullying followed, making me an outcast who would not fit into my peers' dynamics. At that time, there was no internet and my parents were greatly limiting my TV time, so I turned to books. They became my best friends. Library and bookstore became my favorite places to go. Encyclopedias became my most coveted birthday gifts. Books were my everything. Reading was my life. The brain is a very resilient organ. It always tries to adapt. Even though it could not fix my stuttering, it slowly found ways to mitigate this unpleasant impairment. With years, I have learned to intuitively predict the trouble words and pause to collect myself before saying them. It helps with avoiding the stutter, but my communication flow became disrupted. To recover some of this lost speech fluidity, my brain created another workaround. It learned to rearrange words in such a manner that those risky sounds would be sandwiched between safe ones. Luckily for me, both my native Ukrainian and my second Russian languages have incredible flexibility in the way you can arrange words in the sentence. For example, in English you would say, I like to eat my apples. Pretty much you are stuck with only this option, unless you want to sound like Jedi Yoda. However, in Ukrainian, there are over a dozen ways I could rearrange these 5 words. Even something like apples, my, to eat like I could work. On the fly, my brain would start doing those complex calculations and give me words in safe order. Often forced, slow-paced, Jedi Yoda style of talking, with pauses, was making me a bit weird, but greatly reduced my stuttering incidents. My brain injury never went away. I just learned to mask it. Interestingly, while reading out loud, like now, I can sound almost perfect, at least for the first 5 minutes. On the other hand, when I get tired or stressed, nothing helps. I struggle to speak. My love of reading translated into me being a good student at school. I graduated in the top 5 percentile. Later, my parents somehow were able to get me into one of the most prestigious business schools. I was in the bottom 1 percentile by income, which gave me more time for study, as I had no money to hang out with my classmates. After 4 years of university, my grades were good enough to get me a free pass into the master's degree program, which my family wouldn't be able to afford if we had to pay. With my new cool diploma, I quickly landed an awesome job with Fortune 500 company. 10 years later, we moved to Canada, and I continued my professional path with another amazing Fortune 500 company. A good career without family would be pointless for me, and I got unbelievably lucky in this area. During my study at the university, I have met my future wife Julia. They say the probability of winning a lottery is 1 out of 14 million. I absolutely crushed this number by finding my love. There was only one person in the whole universe, my true half, and I have found her against all the odds. I cannot imagine my life without her and my new family. Now I'm 40 and I'm a happy man. Of course, life has its ups and downs, but if I had a choice to change my past, I would never do it. That dog encounter was one of the top defining moments in my life. That brain injury turned into a blessing. It made me who I am and launched a chain of events that brought me here. Thank you, Mr. Dog. When I reflect back, there are 2 lessons that I internalized through my experience. The first one is embrace misfortunes. Toughest times in our lives are the greatest opportunities for growth. Misfortunes are not the ends, but the beginnings. And the second one, be compassionate. Every single person in the world has their struggles. We're just good at masking them.